And then I was like, you know, with the 50-50, I don't know if it's, you know, if she would have got out on the other side, she would have never gotten home. She would have lost in the hills or whatever.
Or she would have had to jump back in and cross to the other side.
I don't know if she would have known to do that, you know?
I think they you always hear stories that, like, dogs are smart like that. You always hear, they got to have some homing bird fucking thing in their brain, because you'll hear stories of dogs, like, going 300, 400, 500 miles. Not all the time, you know, a lot of them die, all that shit, but some of them make it back home.
Yeah, well, she made it back home, and, you know, the firemen were like, what kind of dog is it? And I told them, you know, it's chocolate lab. They're like, oh, she'll be fine. And I'm like, well, what if she got out on the other side of the river? It's like, well, you know, those dogs are, she's not going to die from the cold, so she's got, you know, she can be out there.
Yeah.
She'll be all right. You're going to worry if you get a dog that's going to die from the cold. I mean, Sassy's got 2 big-ass coats on. She fucking loves the snow.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was scared to death, and I thought for sure she was gone. And I remember during the night, one night, I heard rustling outside, and I looked, and it was her, and I got her inside, and she just looked at me like, I can't believe what happened. The funny part about it is she was always like a goofy puppy, you know?
Yeah.
But when she came back to the river, everything had changed. It was a dog. Like, it was like, just, that she was growing up after. That was the event.
Right.
You know, and some degree, you know, there's some changes in me after that, too, in terms of, you know, it was a very traumatic experience, and I should have been dead. You know, you can't go in these rivers because there's a, you know,
there's an undertow.
There's undertow, but there's also temperatures.
Yes.
So you just go right to sleep. You know, and I had every single one of the hyperthermia symptoms at like a catastrophic level, and it was like they kept telling me, and I'm thinking, you know, how? This is what I told them. I said, "Oh, it's because you know, I have a little, you know, I'm a little bit fat. That's why I didn't get cold." And they're like, "No, it doesn't have anything to do with that." They said, "You should have gone to sleep, but somehow you didn't. Somehow we got there in time." I mean, they said, "There's nobody that spends an hour in that." They said, for you to survive something like that, we would have had to get you out in the first 15 minutes. They said, you were holding on to that tree, and we, you know, somehow you didn't go to sleep though. But if you would have went to sleep, it would have been let go of the tree, underwater, done.
Dude, can you imagine if your phone did not work?
Yeah, I was wondering, how do I get out? You know what? You know,
could you not have climbed up to the blackberry bushes? Obviously, you didn't have the fucking energy, but like, was there a path for you to get out or no?
It was getting ragdolled, and this is what they said could have happened. I would have let go. They said, we know where your dog got out of the river, just based on us knowing the river.
Yeah.
Your dog got out of the river at the salmon hatchery. And that's where you would have to get out too. Because if you cannot get out at the salmon hatchery, and I don't know really how it would have been for me to get out at the salmon hatchery, but they said that's where my dog got out. And so I'm thinking to myself, that's 2 miles down the road, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, at that salmon hatchery, if you miss the exit point to get out, which I don't think it's something where you can just say, okay, I'm going to get out here. I think it's luck of the draw, you know. If you
and you got to fucking swim to that bank. Like, you have to have energy at that point 2 miles down while it's still freezing, and then you got to swim fucking 1/8 of a mile to one bank or the other, you know.
So I think it's luck of the draw kind of thing if you are going to get out there. But anyway, I'm thinking to myself, but they say at that salmon hatchery, if you wouldn't have been able to get out,
if you missed it, what, fucking 5 miles down?
No. They said your next point you're getting out,
Monroe,
we're going to pull you out of the Puget Sound.
What?
Yeah, I was like, oh my, I couldn't believe it, you know?
Dude.
I said, I couldn't imagine going in the river getting ragdolled all those 30 miles.
You would have been dead. You couldn't have you would have been dead. Unless you found a flotation device, and then you get in the Puget Sound and you're in the middle of the fucking brackish water, which is fucking ocean, basically. Salt water and fucking...
Well, this is another thing. I didn't know this about that Puget Sound, but that Puget Sound is one of the 10 deadliest waters of body on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea that because of the whirlpools.
Dude, I saw a... what was that show called where they fucking, like, you shouldn't be alive or whatever? It was...
Yeah.
It was an episode of that. And they were on fucking flotation things. They're on kayaks, and the fucking swell just pushed them out to the middle of the ocean where there was fucking whales and sharks and fucking ships. Like they were in the shipping lane all of a sudden. So that would have been, you would have been done. Game over.
Yeah. Yeah. I think about stuff like that, like how I'm like terribly afraid of the wildlife in the oceans now. In terms of like I would never go back in the ocean again ever. Yeah, I think about that a lot because now at certain times of the year that they do the rescues and they put it on Facebook and everything. And when if you look on Facebook, you notice that there is a certain time when it goes. Once it gets into the recoveries at a certain time of cold, it'll never be rescued after that for a long time.
Yeah.